Welcome, race fans, back to Deviant Racing. It's been 2 weeks. It's time for us to go racing here at the GTD and GTD Pro series of the GT World Challenge by Deviant Racing. My name is Webbo, here to join you as usual, and it's very good to be here with you all. This is how things look on the left of your screen after the Kyoto race 3 of the 7 race championship. So we're into the halfway period, of course. It is Vic who leads with the drop scores on 55, sorry, on the overall points. He has 55 points total, ahead of Captain Eli, or I think that's Captain Badonkadonk possibly, in P2 in the Ferrari. Junkai has gained 4 positions, finds himself in joint third with Chaotica on 26 points, just 1 ahead of 5th place Zen in the Renault on 27 total, that is. We've got Komakopa in 6th, Fascia in 7th, Roy Mustang, or at least Junior, in P8, with Preston Bongit and Xiao's Daddy above the provisional relegation line, which sees Izzy, TX and Glovas facing the ignominy of possibly having to requalify for GTD Pro next season. In the Teams Championship cross-border competition, the cross-border, the bordering in question is, of course, the border between the USA and Canada, and they have 92 points ahead of Team Distinguished on 89. Team Drive-Thru Racing a third with Team OG, Rookie Racers, Michelin Speedstars, all ahead of Team Mountain Dew, who are at the bottom of the standings right now. Hi to Kuros Kai, good to have you here. Let's get you trackside. Let's get us some action, shall we? I've just got a problem with my audio. I'm just going to have to turn my my trackside audio down, and we get ourselves ready then, because Zen is out there on track first of all. So it will be appropriate to join him for his preparations for this fabulous Alsace Village circuit, as we will be running in the correct way round, I believe is probably the right way to put it here. And let's have a look at this. Obviously celebrating all that is good about the country of France with the tricolore flag. Is just passing over the grid hatchings here, and we will join him on board then as we go past that pit lane entry point and head into what is a hairpin turn 1. Very short amount of straights here. The hairpin of turn 1 cuts directly across the pit lane exit. We'll be watching out for that later on, and then we'll be full throttle, I would imagine, as we go uphill right now. Full throttle through turn 2 as we're still building the speed. Only just clicked up into 6th gear, but then we have a second hairpin with a fairly extreme amount of camber to it on turn 3. The car will get very light on exit. You need to get your acceleration and your upshifts done before you get there. Turn 4 is ferocious on the neck, probably roughly around 70-degree constant radius turn, and then heavy braking into the right angle turn of turn 5 on the track map at least, before a small kink of 6 and then a bigger stop into turn 7. I think we may see some side-by-side action going on into turn 7. Several lines are available to the drivers, but you can see what I mean about this extreme camber changes that take place. Another constant radius extreme turn here with a great amount of banking. Should keep the a constant speed pretty high before turning left into turn 9, and then we've got a very awkward entry into a third big hairpin, and that is a twisting section under braking down into turn 11. Turn 12 is similar to turn 5, just in the opposite direction to the left, but we're going uphill so we can carry speed, hope the car grips in on the exit curb, and then we'll be pitching ourselves very, very sharply downhill for another really, really difficult braking zone, and piff paff chicane here to finish out our village. We've got 3 corners, a left, right, left, before heading to the finish line. It is Zen then, of course, who sets the first flying lap. This is Vic about to cross the line. He goes faster than Zen, and home favourite Komakopa going into 3rd position, but significantly far back right now. I think probably just taking that first lap fairly easily. We've got TX in 7th. Bongit comes up towards the line at the moment. Bongit, the Canadian, crosses the line, goes 7th ahead of TX before Preston is about to set his lap. There he is, 3.5 seconds slower. Looks like he's taking it fairly easy as Chaotica puts himself up into the top 10. And then we've got Captain Badonkadonk going straight into the pit lane for a new set of tyres. It's about burning off the fuel this early phase of the race. Somewhat out of sequence is Junior here for the Dutch Dad and Son team, or otherwise known as Roy Mustang. I'm not sure if they're both called Roy or that is just Dad's gamer tag. But all the same, we're about to finish out our first flying lap here with Junior as we head down on the brakes, carrying a good amount of speed on that second gear, avoiding the Armco on the exit and the huge concrete or tyre barrier on the outside, the black and white ones. Junior goes P13. Vic is the fastest though at this stage. Let's see if Vic is still pushing, as he is almost into that third. Well, he's definitely into the third sector as he crests over the top. That is where the safety car will cede position after our safety car period at the blue and yellow tyre bridge. And here he is then. Vic, 0.4 of a second faster on his first flying lap. He goes a further 0.3 of a second to set a time of a 1:51.884. Good to have everybody with us who watching live. Do speak up. Let me know who you're here to support and whether your favourite driver is up in the standings as you would hope them to be, or if you're trying to generate some additional performance from them somehow by motivating them or chastising them, which appears to be one of the more common approaches. This is Zen in his Renault RS 04. Again, good speed on the banking here. Izzy's just put in a faster time for him, but it's not featuring in the top 8 at this point. And we've got you can see the cars hanging very, very far right, and then a big snap there from Zen. Didn't quite get into the corner, but managing to absolutely widen the track to the maximum here. Going 2 wheels out onto the curb. You don't want to get out onto the dirt too much here in Alsace. And then again another heavy braking and turning section as we go downhill into the final couple of corners here, the piff paff. I wonder how many drivers will leave paint on those black and white painted surfaces out there, as Zen no faster on that lap. We'll stay with Zen though as he's chasing Vic's time at least through the first sector, which takes us between turn 4 and turn 5 as we head downhill into the right angled right-hander. How is Zen doing? Still building that speed. Unusually here in GT7, the tyre markings on the track don't always indicate the perfect line through the corners, so it's not quite like ACC, for example, that tends to give the game away somewhat. He's quicker, but only by 0.07 of a second. Vic's in the pits right now, as we are 8 minutes into our 10-minute session, so Vic is going to have to hurry up. I think he has come on out of the pit lane. This is Zen then into the deep water of sector 2 here, what could be his final lap. 1:51.884 remains the fastest lap of the session so far. Keeping my eye, we've got Fassiar in 3rd, Junkai in 4th, Glovass in 5th. As we get an update here, and Zen is slower by nearly 0.3 of a second. We'll have a look at Fassiar, who's coming up to the line here, minimising his distance. He pips Zen at this stage. A 1:52.209 for Fassiar goes into 2nd place for the provisional front row of the grid. Of course, we have the first half and the second half of the races that were split by the safety car period, which will condense the field. We are running a clear 2-stop race sequence here. I think the car's likely to be tyre limited rather than fuel limited on the medium tyres today, but time will tell whether the drivers elect to go for the hard and the medium tyre compounds only, or we'll switch onto the softs later on They have to use the hard and the medium, but they are free to use the softs in a third short stint if they so desire. This is Vic. No, he's had enough. He can't go any quicker. Captain Badonkadonk looking good out there. He's gone into third ahead of Zen and has a purple first sector then to his name. Captain Badonkadonk, the Lebanese maestro here, who started with us and is showing some amazing form this season. See the drivers, you can hear the drivers changing gear rapidly, especially in the braking zones as they get turned into the corner. See most drivers taking fifth gear through this one. It will depend on the nature of the car and the way the cars are geared and the way the drivers feel, but he's lost the purple sector, but he's still on a personal best, still on. He needs to catch, to get onto the front row with Fascia. He needs to get in just 0.2 of a second, just under, in order to make his stop. I don't think Vic is going to go for a final lap. We are closing in on the last few seconds here of the overage. I'm not sure we're going to make it. Is it 30 seconds? Is it 60 seconds? Potentially. Captain Badonkadonk is just dying for the stopwatch to keep running here before we get to the line. Can he do second place? Can he even get in on pole? It's neither. He gained 1/10 of a second only. It is Vic then in P1 in the red, white and blue Lamborghini for the team distinguished. Yves Saint Laurent are the sponsors today from the luxury goods manufacturers who are taking care of the team's needs this season, which is great to see. But unfortunately for everybody else, Vic was faster than anyone, and he's even going faster on this lap at the moment as well. So he's going to try and lower the bar even further. I don't see anybody else getting anywhere. We've got several drivers who in the pit lane have put on the hard tyres, preparing for the race already. I'm very surprised to see qualifying running quite this long. This is now into 90 seconds, I believe. 180 is the absolute maximum that we can have. I think I was wrong. It's actually Louis Vuitton rather than Yves Saint Laurent. It is Louis Vuitton here for Vic as he goes to cross the line, and he does go even quicker by 0.3 of a second, revealing his hands somewhat, but intimidating the rest of the field. Vic looking on fire right now in his distinguished Lamborghini. So that is absolutely fantastic for him, leading the championship as well. Here's the result from qualifying. The Italian Vic, a 151.580 was, nobody was anywhere near, including his pink liveried teammate Fascia on the second position. Then on our grid start, we've got Captain Badonkadonk in the Ferrari in P3 with Zen and Junkai, the Renaults, in 4th and 5th. We've got Glovas in 6th with Junior in 7th in the Lexus, and then Komakopa on his home race in P8. Chaotica in 9th, TX in 10th with Izzy, Bongit and Preston, making up our 13-car racing field. And then we've got Saito, who's going to take care of us with the safety car. I'm waiting to hear on the safety car lap, but just to confirm then the top group then in qualifying. Fantastic performance from Vic and from Fascia. Team Distinguished have absolutely got this one set up beautifully, and it's good to see both Renaults up there as well. So we're going to start in a couple of minutes time, and Vic says hold on. He's obviously trying to get ready for the race. Needs a minute there to cool down. He was the only one running at the end of qualifying, so I imagine he had to go ahead and run off for a quick break. Say hello if you're watching with us live. Always good to see you with us. Just a quick reminder then of the current standings. If you were a little bit late to the race, Vic has won 2 of our races. Captain Badonkadonk has won 1 of our 3 so far. In the left-hand side of your screen there for the GTD Pro. Don't forget, we've got the GTD series coming up for you at the straight after this video. on YouTube on this channel. So it'll be great to have you. So Vic has looked very good so far in this season. The worst result netting him 15 points. That is quite a strong start to returning to us after a hiatus. And it's certainly, I think the driver's feeling a little bit like we could do with you going for another break, actually, Vic, because this is a little bit too easy right now. I do hope that you're all having a good race day, and you're going to be enjoying the Grand Prix later on if you're an F1 fan. Always good to have our race done before the Grand Prix, which is at Kota. Clovis asking if he can shower. I think that's probably not allowed. The race will be starting any moment here for you, and there's your confirmation that the grid start will be a grid start, and we will have hard and medium tyres in operation. I haven't seen any weather to speak of on the radar up until this current time. And drivers being a bit silly now. I think, Preston, you need to probably not make jokes about people holding on. Hopefully it was a joke anyway. Otherwise, we're going to be in a little bit of trouble, and you're going to have missed the start of the race. Well, let's get you the information that you want for the standings. I can't get you a good angle, it seems. Apparently, that's not allowed from GT7. We'll have to just deal with what they give us here. The 5 red lights are on. That is a jump start for Vic, no question, as he rolls forward. And it was, in fact, a slow start from Fassiar, who wasn't prepared for the start of the race at all, you have to say. So that is problematic. Komakopa is going in the middle of 3 drivers there round the first hairpin, and we've got to take it pretty careful here, folks, as we try to get through this difficult circuit on the first flying lap. It is Captain Badonkadonk who's got himself up into the lead of our race, ahead of Junkai and Zen, with Glovas down in 4th place. That is a crazy start then for our distinguished gentlemen, who have both had their difficulties away from the start. Different types of difficulty, but still problematic there. Fassiar going side by side with Junior as they run out of the turn 4 and down into the right angle of turn 5. Vic really going for a late move there on Junior, who's basically forced to make his own arrangements. Vic will be feeling a little bit angry after his poor start, his jump start, and then the fact that his teammates was seemingly asleep at the wheel on the exit of the first on the grid points. There is Komakopa, who's slipping back as well. He's got TX going to go round the high side on the banking. TX and Komakopa, Ford versus Ferrari, round the outside, and TX is going to tuck back in, but Komakopa is hanging on here. Chaotica wants to pick up the pieces on the exit of this one as well, and there is TX finally getting his tail ahead of the IMSA Ferrari there for Komakopa. And Vic's had another problem. Vic around as well and into the grass, but he's recovered the car. Let's have a look again at the start. This was both of the cars struggling away from the start of the race. Captain Badonkadonk taking that one absolutely fantastic down into the lead of the race, as Komakopa was left a little bit out to dry on the exit of the next corner. He's still fighting with TX, and that's great to see. It's Captain Badonkadonk against ahead of Junkai and Zen, the 2 Renaults, in 2nd and 3rd position, starting high and running even higher, as Camilo or Camzilla says restart here, to demanding a restart, but really I don't think that is on the cards. Vic versus Chaotica here. Vic from pole position down to P10, starting, I think, on the medium tyres. This is nightmare fuel for Vic, who's going to have to take the hard tyre pain later on. And he dives down the inside of the first of our 3 hairpins. This one in through turn 3 in the Louis Vuitton distinguished Lamborghini, running directly behind home hero of Komakopa. Up at the front then we've got Fassiar from 2nd place down to 5th, with Glovas in 4th place ahead of him. Glovas has taken a great start as well. He's up in the Mercedes and just getting the rear of the car touched by the nose of the Lamborghini. Zen and Junkai playing very nicely together at this stage, but Captain Badonkodonk in the Ferrari sets the fastest sector in that lap 2, as you would expect, and it looks like he's gone slightly spooky for his race today. Good to see K Morris and Camzilla as well as Kuros Kai here in the live chat. Do let me know if you are also watching and where your favourite driver is as we run through TX in P7 here in the Ford GT. Lots of red, white and blue today, not celebrating the US of A overtly. Most drivers just putting something special on their car for either the fact that we're in France or for October, as we've seen a few sort of dark and orange and Halloween themed runs. Akama Copa must be very conflicted with his team drive-through racing livery here, going for a very French McDonald's. You have to say McDonald's is probably the antithesis of French dining, but is he getting down the inside of Comacopa? Let's just see if this one holds on, continues. Izzy with the Ford GT, the surprise of the race so far for me. The Ford GT, the way it has been, the way it's been performing. Izzy on the early turn into turn 1, that hairpin turn, and staying ahead of Comacopa at this stage. At the back, we've got Bonga in 12th, Preston in 13th. I still don't have a safety car lap, so if you are able to contact our safety car driver, please do, and let me know what has been chosen, or if you're in the Discord as well, I'd love to know when our safety car procedure will be happening. It's soft tyres for Captain Badonkodonk and hard tyres for the 2 Renaults, as Badonkodonk gets himself well ahead. A big gap of 7.9 seconds after just 2.5 racing laps so far. Those soft tyres really bedding in very quickly, as Greg says, safety car lap 18. Thank you very much, Greg. Appreciate that. I'm assuming that is Sully by your surname. As P2, Junkai. P3 Zen. We've got 4th is Glovas and 5th is Facia, starting up from the front row of the grid. TX is in 6th, completely on his own, ahead of Junior and Vic. 7th and 8th place. Team Rookie Rebels are going for a Banksy protest style paint job today. A brick wall with Banksy paintings on them, as Vic trying to get that nimble and very nice and pointy and medium shot Lamborghini around. That was a beautiful sequence of corners from Vic. Let's maybe have a second look at this. There is the Banksy Lexus down the outside, as he leaves a good respectful amount of room on the inside, but he's well away, and fantastic job there done by Vic as we run back into live action. Ahead of Junior in 8th, Chaotica in 9th, Izzy in 10th, with Bongit and Comacopa, who's gone from the mid-pack right back down to 12th on the hard tyres in the Ferrari. It says he's loving it on the back wing. I'm not so sure at the moment. Perhaps a bit of bad karma of going for Ronald McDonald on the back window there, hampering his rear view. Captain Badonkodonk on those soft tyres for a sprint session here, essentially on his first stint of what will guaranteed be 2 stops in the team drive-through Ferrari, although it's not particularly drive-through-ish. I think gone for more of a ghostly October style livery here. Junkai in 2nd, ahead of Zen, really getting that Renault underneath the 2 drivers here. They've really dialed it in, and Glovas showing well as well. He's at the bottom of our GTDPRO standings, and he's running in P4 today. Facia, I think, was a little bit deep on the brakes and defending there from his own outbraking maneuver. Vic back up to 7th. Remember, Vic started on the pole position, and this is TX Speedstars in the Ford GT, as he tries to make sure he's still in the hunt here at the end of the race. TX on the medium tyres in the Ford GT, with Vic in the Lamborghini also on those medium tyres. Junior has been dropped by Vic. No real surprises there when you consider Vic was on the pole position and has a tyre advantage at this early stage of the race. But Junior known for his patience. And I can't wait to get a really close look at our liveries today. Particularly this one looks very interesting. Kind of a Peanuts Halloween special for Chaotica, as far as I can see, going at speed. And there is Izzy with his spooky theme of the Ford GT, all black today. Bongit showing black, white and green, as well as the Canadian maple leaf for Canadian Tire. Haven't seen the green on there before, but we will we'll have a good close look at that later. And Comacopa with his French fries on the bonnet, which he may also take issue with, and the Mountain Dew at the back. It says thank you to somebody. We'll have a look at that later on. Captain Badonkadonk leading on lap 5 here at Alsace in round 4 of season 4.3 at Deviant Racing. John Kai and Zen running, and then we've got a great parade of drivers. Glovas ahead of Facia, ahead just for a moment at least of TX, who tried to go around the outside. Now he has the Lamborghini, and they make contact there, door handle to door handle, if that was possible. I don't think it is with the shape of the Ford GT, but Vic very much trying to chase down TX here. We'll see him try to size him up. Vic going for a very speculative move down the inside, manages to bail out of it there, as we've got Chanel and Louis Vuitton on the Distinguished Gentleman's cars. A big gap behind Vic, but this is looking really a very interesting situation then with Vic and with Facia in front. Let's go back to the trackside camera, because I think Facia is shaping up here potentially, and Glovas also sees that coming, stays defensive on the inside. We'll see him wander around on the middle of the road. TX looking threatening. One of those situations where you just are waiting for the contact, which will almost certainly come. Interesting helmet design there for TX Speedstars. A cartoon face on the helmet, as far as I can tell. Facia looking for an opening against Glovas, who is somewhat nonplussed at that section of track. There's just not enough time really to build into a great overtaking maneuver. You just need to keep the pressure on, I think, here, because the camber and constantly shifting amounts of grip on the track and the tyre certainly seem to be causing some errors and mistakes. These curved braking zones, this one coming up here for turn 10 and 11, as well as down into the Piff Paff chicane, are definitely mistake farms, as Vic tries to have a look for that chance then for an overtake uphill over the crest, and then flying back downhill again. We will go under that difficult braking zone. Vic left side, right side. He's tried this the previous lap. It didn't work out. I thought he was keeping his nose in there, but he again managed to get the car stopped for the apex. And the other problem of following these cars so tightly, one after another, is running into those barriers on the exits of the corner. Vic has gone fully around the outside. I wonder if TX missed a gear or let him through there. That is definitely an odd one for me. Keep your eye on the throttle trace and the gear changes here as we run on out. Did he lift? I have a feeling he did lift, and that was basically I think a peloton style thinking. Maybe he's feeling like his tyres or particularly his fuel is being used up a little bit quick, and actually he'd rather run behind the drivers here. Facia has been overtaken by Vic. Well, Vic having invitations to make 2 overtakes on this lap 7 so far. We're 12.5 minutes into the 60 as Vic runs out nice and wide behind Glovas and looks very, very threatening. Facia possibly allowing his teammate through, and Glovas has been caught by Vic and passed. That was competitive. That looked like Glovas was not letting that one go quite so easily, but Vic making 3 places on this lap 7, and Glovas has lost a little bit of momentum. This is Preston's first race in VR, says Kuroskai. That's great info. Thank you for that. He'll be loving it in the experience, but of racing competitively at VR. But the temperature is a factor to be thinking about as well, and the lack of information on the race screen as well. Something that is going to be challenging for Preston for the first few competitive runs. I'm sure he's had plenty of experience, and that's Vassiart. Vassiart with a spin, and I think he was put into it by TX, who gets out of the throttle here. Let's have a look then as we run on board with TX, and I think he possibly was a little bit late on his brakes. Yeah, definitely a little bit of contact there. Vassiart trying to get the car stopped, runs into the barrier, little reverse. I think TX was planning to let him by, but they felt like they were blocking the track there. That's Vassiart all the way down to P10. And actually, do you know what? TXP Stars carried on and waited a few seconds and then thought, you know what, this is going to take too long. I'll let the stewards sort out what's happened. Home Depot are the sponsor of Chaotica's car today, as he runs on around with Junior in the Team Rebel race, Rookie Rebel Racing, with the Banksy brick wall sponsorship. We've got Izzy in 9th, behind him Vassiart in 10th place. Bongit in the number 80 is in 11th. We've got Komakopa, who is not coping well on the hard tyres and the Ferrari balance, and Preston at the back of the grid right now, but you have to say probably enjoying things in this VR helmet view, I would imagine. Still waiting on that lap 18 for the safety car. We're only into lap 10. Captain Baronkodonk is your leader ahead of Junkai, who has a 1.6 second lead over his teammate Zen. Vic catching them now and chewing up his medium tyres here. Remember, Captain Baronkodonk on the soft tyres from the start, and they really helped him gain positions while Vic and Vassiart struggled off the line. And Vic's tail is getting very loose, and he says, okay, I take the hint. Into the pit lane I come to get rid of those medium tyres. I wonder how deep we can go now. I think this might be a bit early for a set of softs to get you all the way to the safety car, so it's possible that several drivers actually targeted the end of lap 8, start of lap 9 as the run for the medium tyres. Maybe thinking medium hard today, as Junior promoted to 4th, Izzy to 5th, Chaotica 6th, and Bongit in 7th place. So Tortoise versus the hair situations in terms of the challenge for the drivers. Captain Baronkodonk, though, the standout driver on the soft tyres, going further than the medium tyre drivers behind him. That's quite something from him, who's managed to both extend a lead and preserve the tyres all the way to this point. And I think he'll be probably pitting soon enough. Now that he sees a big gap open out behind him, it's a good idea to just follow what they do and stay on a good lead. Glovas into 2nd, ahead now of the two Renaults of Junkai and Zen, who are outside of the top 8 right now. In 3rd place, TX. Then we've got Junior in 4th, Izzy in 5th, Chaotica in 6th, with Bongit running in 7th place. And there's Komakopa, who was at the back on the hard tyres, now into 8th place. Here are the Renaults, Junkai ahead of Zen still, with Preston just ahead of Vic. Preston yet to pit. The other drivers, the last 3 of the 4 that I've just mentioned, all having just made a pit stop. Hard tyres for Vic. Interesting, so he's waiting for the medium tyres to use them in the final stint, perhaps. That's the plan anyway for Vic. Vic looks like he is where the action is this race. So we'll see as the Lamborghini will go downhill and challenge here for P11 of Preston. Moving around in the braking zone, but Preston sticking to his line. We'll just make Vic do the hard work of making the overtake, I think. Preston probably not thinking that he needs to cost himself a lot of time versus Vic in letting him by. But the onus is on Vic to put in a clean overtake here. He's the one defending the lead of the championship. He's the one with 2 wins so far. And Preston is providing an interesting challenge here for Vic. Preston on old tyres, racing in VR, we are told, for the first time by Curious Kai, and holding up Vic as the field get away from the pair of them. Potentially here, there is Bleu de Chanel and the Louis Vuitton pattern there on the side of the French flag colour scheme for Vic. Now, as an Italian, I'm wondering how that's feeling. But as Kuros says, this looks like the plan is just to keep Vic busy. Vic has to go down the inside there to make the overtake. In the end, it worked out well, but this has really cost Vic quite a lot of time. As Preston said, you're not having it easy. You're not having the inside line easily. Pulls across once he thought he'd covered it, and there goes Vic by. Had a bit of a mid-corner wobble, but he's made got the job done already then at this point. So Team CBC cross-border competition featuring US and Canadian hardware stores. I saw Canadian Tire on Bonget's car. We'll have a closer look at that, because I did see obviously Home Depot, but what is the Canadian equivalent of Home Depot? This is something I'm not familiar with, so we'll keep my beady eye open for this one, as the drivers have all got together there just as we come to monitor them. What happened with Bonget? What happened with the cars in front? I wonder if Junior got into the back of Izzy and then slowed Chaotica down as well. Junior was looking racy. I think they did get together, and then it's just bang, bang, bang. And Komakopa says merci beaucoup and gets his way through. So Canadian Tire, I don't think that is the hardware store. I can't read what's on the roof. I can hardly ever read what's on the roof of drivers' designs, unfortunately. So you may have to help me out here, Jim, I'm afraid. Unless Canadian Tire is a hardware store with a tyre manufacturer's name. We have some similar situations in the UK. For instance, we have a pharmacist or chemist called Boots. Don't sell boots. So, as you'll probably see on various shorts or reels, it's made quite a joke out of. It is Canadian Tire is a huge hardware store in Canada. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate it. They don't make tyres, or maybe they do make tyres. They just make a lot of other things too. Enterprising Canadians, it wouldn't surprise me. Chaotica, though, leading this battle pack right now, which is about P3. Glovas and Captain Padonkadonk are 13 and 17 seconds incrementally ahead of this group. Still lots of fighting going on. Junkai has just got by Bonget there. The Renault ahead of the Porsche. So automotive centres as well as the hardware store. Great. So it's a bit like what a store we call Quick Fit. That is, you can get your tyres changed, your car legal checks done, and you can pick up various stuff for your bike as well. So Zen, inside, outside, can't make his way by Bonget at this point. I have to say, for the Canadians watching, I did see my very first Tim Hortons here in the UK on a drive this week. I didn't realise we even had a single one in this country outside of London, and I saw one up in the northwest, sorry, of the country. So that was interesting. I didn't go in though for coffee. I've been told it's not actually very nice, but I should probably try it just for Canadian-British relations. Glovas in P1. He's had his team keep the other drivers busy. While he's up there in P1, he's 8 seconds ahead of Captain Badonkadonk. I think possibly he's just lost quite a lot of time. Is he on his outlap? He's not on his outlap. So where did that time disappear to? Captain Badonkadonk starting on the soft tyres. It's switched onto the hards for a short period of time. It's kind of an upside down style strategy. Extend the life of the softs, minimize the time on the hard tyres, which have the maximum tyre life, but the maximum lap time as well. So a really interesting strat from him. And then lots of drivers preserving a set of mediums for the final stint here. Komakopa has suddenly switched on as his hard tyres are getting into their groove. I don't suppose it's possible to get all the way to the safety car on the hard tyre, is it? But it's lap 12. We've got 6 more to go before the safety car. And Komakopa, his pace started to come to the rivals here who have pitted, but unfortunately for Komakopa, just as he was going quicker and starting to push, unfortunately, the car got away from him on the exit of turn 12. Let's see as we go uphill, maybe distracted by the blimp up ahead. And then one thing leading to another. He avoided damage, thankfully, but he also, I think, let Bong get through, and Komakopa has said, no, non plus. We've had enough of this one. Glovas in P8. Lots of drivers in the pits right now. Sweet Lightning Mountain Dew flavour. You have to describe to me what that tastes of. Thank you on the back. Thank you Mercedes AMG, or thank you Sweet Lightning. Not entirely sure. But Glovas running the Sweet Lightning Mountain Dew team entry. It's great to have the final season of the year featuring Team Mountain Dew each year. Hopefully that's going to be a tradition. TX running in P8. He's got Komakopa on fresh soft tyres, running almost the opposite strategy to Captain Badonkadonk. Then I wonder if they watch it back and think whether Komakopa thinks, actually, do you know what, that was the wrong way around. Captain Badonkadonk leading this race right now, having run the softs for 9 laps and the hards for a short period. The shortest of the stints, probably. Komakopa. Oh, that is less than formidable from Komakopa, unfortunately, as we'll see him go for an overtake here on TX. Ferrari versus Ford once again, down that inside line, running out of grip at the apex, making contact, and then a very slow, rather embarrassing release back into the racetrack. So a couple of big offs on this 2 laps in the middle part of our first half of the race, and that 25 minutes in. And Junior is in P9, and he is chasing down TX Speedstars here for 8th position. At the front of the field, we've got Captain Badonkadonk, Junkai, and Zen. As it was prior to all the pit stops, it's all worked itself back out again, and that is the order. Junkai looking like he is really, really comfortable in that Renault at this point in the season. The heavy Lexus, although quick, the Lexus is heavy on its tyres, and Junior is trying to tiptoe around. Oh, that was late on the brakes. Little bit of contact against TX, and then didn't force the issue. I think hesitated at the throttle there just to make sure he didn't pitch TX around, but he'll have to figure out a better, more competitive place to make an overtake. But his ambition is certainly not to be faulted as he goes down the inside once again. TX running in that P7, holding firm on the inside line through the longer left-hander. Astonishing saying, what did I miss? Well, a fair amount astonishing, as Junior going for the inside. He's got much more alongside now than he was before. The problem with this Alsace track is that it keeps changing direction for them, and it is hard to complete a maneuver once you are on one side of the racing line. It's really hard to get back onto it. This is a fabulous battle in the end as he gets deep down onto the banking of that turn 8, more than 180 degrees around, and what looks to be at least 20 degrees of banking. You can go really quickly through there, and Junior hanging on for now. He's on the better tyres. Oh, it's just TX just leaving the door open too late for Junior to do anything about it. As he runs through then, Captain Badonkadonk leads from Junkai and Zen. But we are watching at the moment the battle for P7, because I can hear the Jaws theme tune playing as Komakopa is getting himself back together. Astonishing saying, this is a hard track. More contact possibly between Junior and TX. Can't really ascribe fault right now, but he is going for these very late lunges and showing some impatience, I think, which is not normal for Junior. And Komakopa, you see how much it's slowing the drivers down, because Komakopa is catching now, and it is now a three-way battle. Less than a second covering 7th, 8th and 9th places combined. This is crazy stuff then, as it kind of feels like a brick wall livery on the Lexus. It would look slow, but right now these drivers are absolutely pushing like mad to try and get the overtake. Here comes Komakopa then, Junior on the inside of TX, and Komakopa might have the opportunity to go right around the outside. The next significant corner is to the left, and that's exactly what Junior didn't want to happen, which was to in attacking, failed to defend from Komakopa, who is on the soft tyres right now, running the opposite strategy to our race leader, Captain Padonkodonk, who has won one race to Vic's 2 races so far. Vic with the... oh, that's one thing astonishing, that if you don't rewind and watch the start, you'll see that the distinguished team Lamborghinis both failed to get off the start line cleanly, as Komakopa with a great soft tyre overtake on TX there as well. Really cool to see that one on its way. We can see Komakopa then go for the move, go right round the outside on the braking zone. Just the confidence to take the position there on the soft tyres versus those hard tyres of TX. But yeah, the distinguished gentleman locking out the front row, and then both having their issues to getting away from it. Chaotica in 10th is starting to catch that battle as well. Bit of a gap then, 7 seconds back to Bongit. Fassiar's in the pits, and we've got Izzy in 12th place. Preston for the Team Mountain Dew Mercedes AMG is at the back of the grid at the moment. We're still waiting for the 18th lap. Deep into the second half of the race, Captain Badonkodonk leads by 4.2 seconds, but it's fairly academic. You don't really need anything of a lead at this stage of the race, because it will all be eliminated thanks to our pace car. And if anything, you are probably wasting fuel by opening a gap to the cars behind, unless you can't drive slower safely. Some drivers only really have one mode, and that is flat out. Here is Glovas in P4, running in that AMG Mercedes, showing what it can do at this stage. I'm surprised at how competitive that is, that long wheelbase Mercedes AMG around this tight and twisty French circuit. And there is Komakopa. He's on those soft tyres, I think. We'll do one more lap probably. Pit before the safety car, try then to pit and use tyres to the end of the race, but he will be locked into a medium tyre strategy because he's used the hards and the softs so far, just like our race leader in the opposite pattern, and into the pit lane at the end of their 17th lap. 16th, 17th? I think the end of their 16th lap are the 3 at the front of the field. Glovas goes by. He's on the medium tyres right now. He goes by. Safety car will be preparing himself to come out. The pit lane will be closed now to new entrants after this lap, as Junior goes on in. A new set of tyres at the end of his 16th lap. And Vic goes for a move against TX Speedstars, who is going to have hardly any paint left on the inside, on the right-hand side of his Ford GT. Lots of drivers using that turn 1 as a chance to at least get alongside, but making contact again as he goes, leaves the door open somewhat into the first of our hairpins in turn 1. More contact still on TX's right-hand side there in the Ripple Ford GT. As we continue, you can see Astonishing showing up relatively late to the stream today and going straight into P1 in the chat leaderboard. Don't forget, Super Chat is open. I'm happy to do shout-outs, or certainly we'll be giving out thanks on air if you do decide to press the button. We've got Komakopa in 5th, Vic in 6th, and then behind him a battle for 7th still. TX defending that 7th place all race long against different drivers throughout the course of the race. You've got Chaotica in P8. Don't forget to do the things to support the channel today. Be a subscriber, press the like button, press the hype button if you be so kind as well. Seems to help with the latest algorithm changes. There is Chaotica running side by side with TX. I think a battle this intense we should have some sort of audience or wife and girlfriend reaction shot to put in the middle of this. Chaotica in P8, TX in P7. As we run through, then that is looking very, very racy. Will Chaotica get that inside line? And once again, TX miles away from the apex on the right-handers. He's certainly got this car not quite set up for the Alsace circuit. Lap 18 begins. We'll just see if we've got our safety car. Here he is then. Saito will lead the field, and we will get a chance to have a look at these new designs then. And we see the 66 for Team Drive Through Racing, or at least racing the Ferrari. I'm not seeing what this is all about. I don't know what the badge is at the back there, but it's certainly looking quite spooky. For its art archive is the it says on the, or archive possibly, it says on the windshield banner. This is Team Mountain Dew's entry, and it is Scorchio, Sweet Lightning, which I have no idea what it tastes like. Thank you for the Webbo sticker, and just noticing there the Motubo. I do like the Globas plan there. He makes a mirror image on the right hand side of the car with his stickers. Doesn't go for duplicating. On the very French Renault, we haven't put a baguette on the car, but it is about as French as it gets here. Zen now ahead of Junkai. Interesting, that change. Medium tyres then set for the end of the race. The French McDonald's, where I believe in Paris you can buy a beer with your McDonald's. If you get the reference. And again, thank you for the sticker. The Golden Arches representing, with a very large Ronald McDonald on the back window as well for Chaotica. He didn't send this one to me ahead, he wanted me to be surprised. The Team Distinguished running those luxury brands, Louis Vuitton, definitely not a money laundering scheme, but Chanel also on the side of the car. And very nice French tribute here for the Italian to rock those French brands. The black version of the Ford GT Ripple. And then, here we go. This is the one I've been waiting to see. This is the Peanuts Halloween special for the Home Depot. Now, I don't know if Peanuts have any affiliation with Home Depot, or it is just a convenient way of showing something orange for Halloween. Again, you'll have to let me know on that one. But running Linus Stern with his Canadian Tire shod teammate. No mistaking the maple leaf emblems all over it. And I think this would work better at an Italian circuit because it is the Italian race colours. But all the same. We've got some late pit stops coming in. There is Izzy then for his Michelin Speedstars livery. And instead of being spooky, he's decided to write spooky on the car. And there's some clouds gathering overhead as well, so we'll see if anything eventuates from that, as the drivers are being a bit odd here under the safety car. I'm pretty sure our safety car hasn't come in. No, indeed. So there's a lot of overtaking going on after the line there. After the second pit stops, Komakopa has pitted again and put on a new set of medium tyres to finish out the race. Look at this sky. I wish I had someone showing the radar on here. If you've got any inside information and you're in our live audience, do let me know about the conditions here. We absolutely want to know if we're expecting, or even if rain is possible at this circuit. At the head of the field, Captain Baronkarok in the black, teal and white Ferrari will lead them away. The safety car lights are still on, but I believe the safety car will be coming in for the final 22 minutes, and probably about 13 or 14 laps well, not even that. No, it's going to be closer to 12 or 13 laps, I think, to finish out the race once we get underway here at Alsace, near the Swiss border, I believe it is, in France. A bit of a test facility, and of course public roads around the mountainous region. You can see the cottages with the Tudor, what we would call Tudor era building style. I'm sure the French don't call it that. But I don't know my French history well enough to properly denote what period of time. I hope that Commentator will be able to give me the equivalent there of that period in history. It's kind of 1700s in France. It will be one of the Louis, I'm sure. Arsaito leading the safety car train. Of course, we've been told that the safety car will come in or relinquish the lead of the race to the leader at the yellow, black and white tyre arch. There it is. So he'll go off, and then Captain Badonkadonk will choose when to go. Blinkers are on. Those should all be turned off now because we are back under starter's orders. We will go green flag as soon as Captain Badonkadonk decides that it's the appropriate time to go, and fairly predictably taking the apex point of turn 16, and we are go for the final 20.5 minutes of the 60 here for the fairly tight and sprinty style length finish to this race. It is Zen ahead of Junkai there in 3rd and 4th positions, Captain Badonkadonk ahead of Glovas, and Vic trying to get back onto at least the podium today after a disastrous jump start situation, which he was not further punished for, but will have caused him and Faciar to be feeling a little bit embarrassed, I think. Glovas looking like the car is not quite with him here, and letting Captain Badonkadonk get away from the chasing field. Glovas on old medium tyres and going to hold up the field here as they try to queue up. I wonder if Glovas is looking at his radar and thinking that rain is on the way. You can start to see some, possibly the moon or possibly some stars behind the clouds when we get a break in them. I think we're going into evening. Obviously the headlights are on. Vic was alongside Junkai for a moment there. Couldn't quite get the job done. Vic on the new medium tyres through to the end of the race. And we may even get some fireworks in an evening finish here at Alsace. It looks absolutely spectacular, this circuit, when you get an evening finish. I hope that is the case. Chaotica in 8th with Junior just in front of him there in 7th. Preston in 9th place on new medium tyres with Copa on the same situation. Izzy as well in P11. TX in P12. And behind them, we've got Bongit as our safety car driver has decided he's not going to hang around. He's going to get training for his GTD race, like I say, coming up on the channel live immediately after this one. Captain Badonkadonk leads by 1.6 seconds. Looks like it wasn't just the soft tyre grip at the start of the race that let him get away. It looks like his inherent pace that he's got on all tyres so far today. Glovas, though, is going to be a lot slower than the Lebanese driver at the front. I don't think that Glovas can get the tyres home at this point on the medium tyres, I think, and that he is shorter fueled than the Renaults behind him. The Renaults tend to be one of the most fuel efficient of our GT3 race cars here at the GTDPRO. Remember, the GTD drivers are driving the GT4 cars this season, so completely different car models. I don't know how that's gone down with everybody at this point in the season. If you've got an opinion on whether it's better for the lower tier drivers to be racing as Vic gets out in the dirt and his teammate goes by, that's Faciar. That looked like formation flying from the two of them. I think Vic decided, you know what, I've just made a mistake, let's give Faciar a chance, but maybe not, as they continue then to battle through the next few corners. I think this is the same livery that Faciar rocked last time out, and he stayed with the Seiko watch manufacturer, despite the fact that it is a French race here today and the red, white and blue are out in full with his teammate. Glovas driving a great defensive race here, but this is going to be frustrating Zen and Junkai, and very much pleasing Captain Badonkadonk at the lead of our field, because of course those drivers are now being significantly held up. Zen scattering a little bit of dirt and grass across the circuit from the apex of the turn 11 as we run through, and those dark clouds continue to look threatening over certain sections of the track. We'll have a look how that looks on board. This is John Kai. No windscreen wiper action just yet. And as we just clunk down through the piff path. It's a little bit slow really, I guess, to be called a piff path, but this is John Kai, his eye view, and he'll be looking at the cloud, to be clicking across to the radar when he gets the chance to just check on things. A great little button box on the right hand side, similar to a Fly Sim Controls button box he's got, just where you could point and click with your right hand from the wheel. And he runs in towards this battle in front of him, just playing a watching brief at the moment. He'll be watching those mirrors as well, as Vic is looking like he's going to be troubling John Kai significantly here. Great to see these close battles. John Kai dips 2 toes out in the grass at this point. Vic will take that as an indication that he's forcing John Kai to drive a little bit defensive, a little bit ragged. Vic himself puts 1 tyre at least off into the dirt as they run through this very, very tricky technical circuit with constant switchbacks, camber difficulties and changing conditions throughout the course of the race. This is a really fast banked section, turn 8, as we run through, similar to Turkey's turn 8, but with much more banking, even as this is the battle then for the podium, led by Glovas, who I'm expecting to pit again and put himself to the back of the field here. Potentially Vic on the inside line, not being given that inside line again from John Kai, who defends. Fassiar comes around the outside. Vic thinks, I'm going to try for the wide line, but my teammate's already there as Fassiar gets a twofer as he goes right round the outside. What a move from Fassiar as the 2 drivers are fighting over what was 4th and 5th. Fassiar comes through. Great overtake from him. Let's look at it from his perspective as he is lining this one up. Both drivers in front taking a compromise line through what is a really important power down section, up and over the hill, and then just walking around them. It almost looked like they made mistakes, but it was just about the trajectory of their cars through the sequence. Glovas still ahead of Zen now in 3rd with Fassiar in 4th. Fassiar starting 2nd. Would have had high hopes for the race as we hit the golden hour of the sunset portion of this one. Miyake on Fassiar's rear wheel arch as well. Lots of luxury brands being represented by the distinguished gentleman, as John Kai in 5th and Vic in 6th place. Vic will be hoping to get himself a win here. He doesn't want to go 2 for 2 against Captain Podonkadonk. Would love to continue his great run of consecutive podiums, but so far it's looking a little bit out of touch. I do think Glovas will dip out of this pretty soon for possibly a set of soft tyres to run softs for something around, well, that would still be 5 or 6 laps if he comes in very soon. But Glovas running out of tyres on the front left, as I said earlier, a tyre limited track rather than fuel limited, but he will still need a little bit of fuel, I think, to finish out the race. We still have 13 minutes 20 to go as Glovas comes through to finish out this lap. I would not be surprised to see him head in towards the pit lane after this next chicane. He doesn't really want to give up positions in the meantime or get involved in being hounded and overtaken. Big slowdown. I thought for a second Zen was going to go all the way around the outside. He's got to expect that Glovas will pit. He's going to go around the outside of him, and I think he was trying to cut back. I think now whether the blinker is on or not, we will have to see. I'm going to think he's going to struggle to even get into the pits. Now let me see, did he put his right hand blinker on? I don't think he does here. It goes outside to inside, stays on this outside line, and then yeah, he's not indicating into the pit lane. Pretty sure that's where he was headed. But unfortunately for him, he's has contact from Zen behind. Does go into the pit lane, but of course that's cost him 5, 6, 7 seconds on his way in. And he's somewhat flustered here. He's got a 3-second penalty for crossing the line. I don't think that's his fault. and we will absolutely want to hear from Globas in the podcast, the Drink with a Driver podcast. If you haven't been watching it, do so. It's a lot of fun. But Globas, you have to strain to hear him still. Still can't quite hear Globas on the podcast as well. Or everyone else is going to have to speak quieter, I think, so we can have our volume up. But all the same, Globas, that would not have been very well received, I think, in his seat. Penalty says astonishing. I think I can understand Zen being a bit desperate to get by. He had been queued up behind Globas, and he didn't know for sure he was headed into the pit lane. There was no blinker on. If he had put his right hand blinker on, I think Globas could very, very much say that there was a justification there for a penalty. I'm a little bit hesitant to suggest that, but I'm definitely happy to hear from you guys. Astonishing saying penalty. Jim, Globas drop. Tell me what you think about that sequence. You can always rewind a live stream and you can watch it again and again until you make a determination. But the two Renaults, but where they were at the start of the race, still in P2 and P3, the two Lamborghinis on the grid were first and second, and we'll still be dreaming of a double podium, I think, here. Captain Badonkadonk 7 seconds out in the lead of the race, and while these guys continue to fight over the podium, I don't see Captain Badonkadonk being challenged here unless he drops the car off. Dropped out of the race, says Jim. Globas, wow. That's huge, I have to say. We don't like drivers to quit out on us, but Globas, I'm being told, has exited stage left, and that's a big deal, particularly for an admin to do. But I can absolutely understand if he's completely frustrated like that. Zen against Vic, side by side. Absolutely no quarter given between the two of them, and we wouldn't want it any other way. We want to see these fights go the distance. Vic says, I'm having that inside line, and we're going to touch, but I'm going to try and hang on to this. Down the outside, they still go side by side. This one's the quick one, as Vic can go quickly on the high side here. If he can get the car hooked up into the groove, he'll turn to the left and still have the line. Look at these two go side by side action. Astonishing saying that Globas got told to retire the car. Meanwhile, Vic takes the overtake finally and then chucks away the advantage he'd gained, unfortunately, by running wide through that next corner. Zen nibbling away at the rear wheel arch, but this is how the fight culminated. Vic versus Zen as they run through, and they were side by side for about half of this 25th lap, and just gets the tail ahead, but partly because he was late on the brakes. I'm sure Zen will not give this one up, as into the pit lane at the end of the race. Come on, drivers, what is going on? This is a big surprise to me, and deciding that the car needs some more fuel. Another pit stop. This is pit stop number 3 for most of our drivers now at the head of the field. This is going to close up the field again, and maybe the smarter run for the drivers was to stay out and turn the engine down. Lots of drivers, and Globas clearly not happy. And the rumor was there, Globas, that you were told to retire the car by the team. But what I can say is I didn't see your pit lane indicator light go on, your blinker, to communicate that was happening. Komakopa's blinkers are still on from the safety car period, but that's all I'll say is maybe you did indicate in a close battle that you headed into pit road, but I didn't see it on the replay. So let me know whether you think that was probably an advisable thing to do, or it's your prerogative. Komakopa is all the way back to second place here, and I feel may have the fuel left in the car, maybe not. Looking at it, other drivers have put nearly half a tank of fuel into the cars after those pit stops. Junior's in 3rd, Chaotica's in 4th. Drivers will be heading towards the end of this 26th lap and maybe thinking about fuel and tyres once again. Preston's in 5th with Junkai, Speedstars and Zen 6th, 7th and 8th places. Look at the amount of fuel on the Renault and Ford GTs in comparison to the other drivers at the front of the race. So Maybe they're driving with a turned down engine. Maybe they are absolutely onto it. Captain Badonkadonk, about a third of a tank of fuel on at the moment. Soft tyres for the end of the race. And not a hugely different amount of fuel in the Ferrari. That is a fuel-efficient car as well. Ironically, I have to say, Commentator in P2, lights ablaze. Hopefully, we will get to the end of the race in the dark and have some fireworks, some proper Alsace French fireworks to finish out our beautiful race here. Junior up into P3. If he can hang on to this one, he's got hard tyres on. He's got a reasonable amount of fuel as well, and is ahead of Chaotica. I am somewhat surprised that both Renaults pitted at the time that they did. But they will obviously not do that optionally. It will obviously be there for not being able to get home on the fuel. But soft tyres they have elected for. That is not a required tyre. You do not have to use that soft tyre. So they have decided on their strategy. They're going to have to do some overtaking to get back onto the podium. But Captain Badonkadonk is 8.3 seconds away here from Junkai, and he is 11.3 ahead of Zen from the race lead. So that's a big deficit and a lot of cars to overtake in the meantime. Some of our cars have been expert defenders today. Vic in 9th, Bongit 10th, and Facia in 11th. Wow, those distinguished Lamborghinis have struggled with the strategy today after the poor getaway. Here is Facia, P11 on Bongit as we run through to the left and then the right. Tight right, Facia. Oh dear, he won't want to see that again, but I do. So let's have a look at Facia here, who just loses adhesion on the brakes here. The rear of the car locking up and pitching him round. He didn't mean to touch Bongit here on the entry. He's offline slightly, and then, oh dear me, that is horrible, absolutely horrible. And that will be, he'll be seeing that one when he closes his eyes tonight. Captain Badonkadonk, P1 by 6.9 seconds ahead of Komakopa on the medium tyres right now, as Junkai has caught Junior and is side by side with him. Junkai back to the podium and is 1.8 seconds away from Komakopa with 4 minutes 40 left to go. The number 85 here of Junkai. Showing very well, but a little bit of a job still to do to get by the Frenchman here at his home race. But Komakopa has had a couple of spills already this race, so I don't know how we'll be feeling in the cockpit, whether he's even thinking he will hold on to this podium. Certainly not on the apex at this stage. This is on board with Junkai in the Renault as we run with those 4 minutes left to go. That will be a very long 4 minutes, and the car just will not go to the apex for Komakopa as we go to the outside here with Junkai, and surely it's just a matter of time. The soft tyres will grip in around the outside, but not on the dirt, they won't. Junkai getting greedy out there and just taking too much of the racetrack. Zen has taken a lot longer to get by after the pit stop than Junkai. Zen up down there in 7th place, was running in 3rd with his teammate just in front of him. In fact, he was ahead of his teammate at one point in this race, but it's not been working out, and it's not been working out for Vic either, who's just behind TX and has also gone for those soft tyres at the end of the race, perhaps expecting everybody to do the same thing. One aborted a chance then for an overtake as Junior defends hard from Chaotica, and very well in fact in the 88. Junior there from the dad and son combination, otherwise known as Roy Mustang Racing out of the Netherlands, and Ajax supporters. Komakopa though versus Junkai continues, and this will be the penultimate lap now, with lap times almost at the 2-minute point. Komakopa and Junkai side by side. I do think Junkai's got it though down the inside. He just needs to reach the apex of this turn 3 hairpin, and Junkai is through and back into 2nd position. Can he, with 1.5 laps remaining to him at this stage, get himself back into a position to fight for the outright victory, or will it be settling for 2nd here? And there was the overtake done for Junkai. Up front, though, it is 11.7 seconds. Forget about it. Captain Badonkadonk has gone soft, hard, medium, soft, and still been fastest at all points on this during this race. Down to the final 2 minutes now, and the penultimate lap here. All of our leaders, all of our racers together. No, it is absolutely true as Chaotica and Preston navigate that turn 8 banked corner, and Zen still in 6th place. He's got by Junior, who's struggling, but Preston and Chaotica can hold on for this time. And they go side by side. They're not worrying about Zen right now. They're worrying about each other. As a tiny bit of contact. I think that's rubbing, and rubbing's racing, as you all know. Preston versus Chaotic, especially in GT3 and saloon cars, stock cars. Open wheelers, I think we have to be a little stricter about, but closed wheel arch cars, you can definitely be a bit more muscular, and we like to see it. Zen goes by through and past Preston. Another overtake for him then, but still away from the podium, which he was in those positions earlier on. So just with those soft tyres, getting the drive up and over the hill, and then we can brake probably more than 10 meters later. And he gets a little tap from Grover's teammate there on his way by, but not to the point where he ends up spinning. I don't know if Preston is under any communication from his teammate, or Grover's just exited and let him get on with it. Vic is right there in the mix of things, but remember, qualifying on pole position, winning 2 of our 3 races so far. The other race winner so far, Captain Badonkadonk, out in front of this one with a very, very healthy margin. Zen's in 4th, ahead of Chaotica, ahead of Vic. Behind them is Preston and Junior. And the battle for P2 is well and truly over, but Komakopa has the chance here, a 1.9 second gap behind. He's been running with the engine down, he's been sipping the fuel and trying to get a 2-stop strategy home, where most of the fastest drivers have gone for a 3-stop. Komakopa is on his final lap, and we'll see if he can hang on there. He's just a little bit slow through the right-hander. He's got to protect the tyre. He's trying to get home on the fuel. It wouldn't be the first time we've had a driver run out of fuel, and we've got windshield wipers on Captain Badonkadonks car. He's not going to be too fussed about it as long as he can get these next 2 apexes. We'll just check in with the drivers behind, but there is Captain Badonkadonk around the final corner, turn 17, and Alsace with a flash of the lights with the windshield wipers on. I'm not sure if that's for a good reason or not, but into the win for Captain Badonkadonk. Junkai is right there. Zen is going to steal the podium at the end from Komakopa, but I'm pretty sure with one of our admins being the hurt party as they go through. Wow, Zen ahead of Vic and Komakopa. Let's just see how that one went down, because that was from some way back. Komakopa protecting the tyre, possibly has turned down the engine. And Zen making contact, but he was the lead car at the apex there at the point of the contact, possibly. So we will see, but that's how things finished for our leaders, and we'll give you the overall standings. There is Captain Badonkadonk, Captain Eli with the 66, and he is the outright winner of our race. He wins by a 13.4 second margin. What a victory for Captain Badonkadonk, taking his win tally to 2 now out of the 4. With the fastest lap as well. Didn't get the pole position, doesn't get every point available, every check in the notebook today, but still a great run from him, ahead of Junkai and Zen, with Vic in 4th. Komakopa was 5th, Chaotica 6th, leaving Preston and TX in 7th and 8th places. Facial, Bongit, Izzy, Junior and Glovas will not get a classified finish as far as I'm aware. Out there with the early departure. Thanks to Saito for driving our safety car, and we had Captain Badonkadonk, Junkai and Zen, our podium as things finished. The Renaults did get their way at the end of the race, and we didn't get our fireworks that I was hoping for. If we'd have finished in the all all night conditions, then we might have had that. Thank you so much, everybody. I will get the stream prepared and underway for the GTD race momentarily. Just make sure that you have the notifications set on my channel, and you're a subscriber, and will be turned on very, very soon. Thankfully, this one all went swimmingly this time. Thank you, everybody, for watching, being part of today's broadcast. Hopefully, you'll tune in for the next one if you're not racing in it, and we will catch you in the next race day.